my goodness. And there it is. Wow, get the pin to go.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Bowl TV for continued coverage of the 2021 USBC Queens, the first major on the 2021 PWBA Tour schedule. We have 4 days of competition in the books. Day 5 is upon us here. The final day of match play before we get down to our top 5 competitors for the stepladder finals taking place right here on BowlTV.com tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern from the National Bowling Stadium. My name is Aaron Smith, joined by Jason Thomas. Mike Flanagan, part of the Bowl TV crew as well, working hard in the background. And we are getting ready for what's going to be another epic day of 3-game total pinfall matches, highlighted this morning with a matchup of the best or top 2 players on the PWBA Tour over the past couple of years, Shannon O'Keefe and Danielle McEwen, kicking things off for us in the winner's bracket today, JT.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, this is the matchup everybody wants to see. Danielle McEwen's been dominant all week long. She's had kind of an up and down season. Great week last week. Looks like she's fully back. Shannon's had kind of an up and down week this week herself. She had probably her 3 worst games on tour, but she bounced back the next day, shot one of the big blocks of the day, made the cut. Now she's in the winner's bracket, and this match couldn't be more exciting. As far as predictions for it, I mean, Danielle's had the best ball reaction of anybody all week, but Shannon's had a really good look on the fresh. I think if it's close and it goes down the wire, I would give the edge to Shannon because she's just been so good at closing out opponents when she needs to the last couple of years. But on paper, you would think Danielle would have the advantage with the ball reaction that she's had all week.
All right, we have practice wrapping up, so let's go to the lanes here as this 3-game total pinfall match gets ready to kick off. A total of 32 players on the lanes right now here at the NBS, 16 in the winner's bracket, 16 in the elimination bracket. And for the players in the winner's bracket, for 2 of them, they're 3 wins away from a guaranteed spot in Tuesday's stepladder finals. And for 1 player, 4 wins away from earning the all-important number 1 seed. And don't forget, folks, true double elimination format in the bracket as well. So the number 1 seed will have to be defeated twice in order for them not to be able to take home the tiara. So that's what we have going on here. The 42-foot pattern they've seen all week out there once again. Very familiar with it. And boy, do we have some great matchups across the house here. Starting on our Bowl TV pairs, once again, 8 available for your viewing pleasure. We're starting off with Danielle McEwen and Shannon O'Keefe on 57 and 58. Over on 41 and 42, Verity Crawley versus Carolyn Doran Ballard. Awesome matchup right there in the winner's bracket. 49 and 50, Jordan Richard against 2011 Queens champion Missy Parkin. 49-50 for that one. Elise Bolton and Liz Culkin also in the winner's bracket. That's on 33 and 34, so you can follow that one with live scoring. Also outside of our camera pairs, follow with live scoring. Liz Johnson taking on Lindsay Boomershine. Interesting path for Liz on her way to 2 wins. Rolled a 300 game in her opening round win against Hope Framley, and then held off a furious comeback from Fania Kobo for a 7-16, 7-10 win to set up a matchup against Lindsay Boomershine once again on 29 and 30. Over on 45 and 46, Stephanie Johnson taking on Julia Bond. A great matchup right there on 37 and 38, just outside of our camera view. Diana Z, 2-time champion, Diana Zavyalova, taking on Birgit Norreichs, who's quietly had a very strong tournament, shot 763 in her first win, and then 639 to set up this matchup. That's a very good one on 37-38. Final winners bracket match, Kayla Pashina taking on Clara Guerrero, 53 and 54. In the elimination bracket, Brianna Clemmer versus Alexis Nair on 13 and 14. 2012 champion Deandra Asbeatty taking on Sandra Gondora. That one on 21 and 22. On 17 and 18, Gigi Mason against Erin McCarthy. 25 and 6, Brianna Cote against Brandy Branca. 61 and 62, Taylor Bailey against Shannon Sellens. 65 and 66, Tanya Ramanpur and Cara Mangiola. 69 and 70, Caitlin Johnson against Rocio Restrepo. And then on 73 and 74, our defending champion Dasha Kovalova taking on Josie Barnes.
A lot of great matches out there. 15 other matches other than the one that we're watching right now. 32 players competing.
This is where we need to, our next investment on site here is about a 8-screen TV set up to go along with our backdrop and everything. So just have it all just posted in front of us.
Yeah,
here.
like the Bat Cave.
Whole TV cave.
Shannon goes high her first frame, leaves a 7-10 and 4-pin on her second shot there. So probably going to need to make a move pretty early on. And we've kind of seen that all week long. Shannon has had a pretty good look on the fresh, but her issue this week has been kind of keeping up with the transition. Danielle, the reason why she's had such a good look all week and has been so dominant is she's been the player who's been the best at keeping up with the transition and staying ahead of it.
After she took the lead in qualifying, she said, "Been thinking long game this entire tournament. Day one's not going to look like match play." The goal was to get pins early, which she did. Was in the top 3 after day number 1. And then use the final 2 rounds of qualifying to collect information.
Yeah, the match we saw her bowl against Tanya Ramanpur was a perfect example of that. She just Tanya did a fantastic job just staying in the match and forcing it, to the 10th frame where Danielle had to mark to win the match. But Danielle was just basically, it almost looked like she was toying with Tanya a little bit. I mean, not on purpose, but she just seemed like she had so many more options than Tanya had in that match, and it seemed like she didn't expend a lot of effort, in winning that match. She didn't have, the best look she's had all week, but clearly much better than what Tanya had. Tanya really had to struggle for every pin she got, whereas Danielle, kind of had the luxury of trying some different things and ended up walking away with the win. But an early open there for Danielle, which lets Shannon right back in the match early. As we mentioned, Shannon has had a lot of success on the fresh, but right around game 3 is where she's, run into some issues dealing with the transition. So see if that plays out again here.
She's a couple boards to the right here of Danielle. A little more direct line to start things off. These two have become familiar foes over the course of past couple of PWBA Tour seasons. And I say that in a competitive aspect only. They're friends. They get along on the lanes. A lot of camaraderie, but there's been a lot of matchups in the past couple of years between these two, and rightfully so, as essentially the 2 top players on tour. Shannon getting a couple of wins in title matches against Danielle earlier this season at the Bowlers Journal Classic to kick off the year. At the Orlando Open, in 2019. Danielle, however, having a big win on her way into the finals. She defeated Shannon with a clutch double in the 10th frame. The U.S. Women's Open on her way to winning that major. And then at the then World Bowling Women's Championships 2019, the gold medal match in singles. Shannon and Danielle. Danielle able to take home the gold for Team USA, defeating Shannon in that matchup.
Taylor Bailey off to a quick start with the front six against Shannon Sellens. Nice shot there from Danielle.
Jordan Richard is going to be looking for 6 in a row against Mrs. Harkin over on 49 and 50 as well.
Looks like Shannon made the move after going a little high first two shots. And now on the board with the turkey.
Rough start for Dasha Kovalova over on 73 and 74. Reopens. Start her matchup as Josie Barnes started with a 3-bagger. Dasha looked pretty good in that matchup, though, yesterday to conclude a competition on Sunday night against Maria Jose Rodriguez. So she's able to bounce back and continue her run as the defending champion.
I really think it's going to be important for Shannon to jump out to a lead here in this match because I just see, on paper it certainly seems like Danielle's look is going to be better in game 3. Although I did say earlier that if it were to come down to somebody needing strikes to win, my money's on Shannon. She's been so good in the clutch these last few years. She just always seems to be able to find a way to get a strike when she needs it. But I do think it's important for her to jump out to a lead here because I feel like Danielle's going to have a really nice ball reaction in game 3, especially with Shannon playing to the right of her.
So Taylor Bailey now up to 8 in a row.
Yes.
Matchup against Shannon Sellens.
Wow, it's going to be a huge lead for Taylor. Shannon with 105 in the 7th.
right, we'll take a look at Taylor Bailey as she gets ready for her 9th frame here. Just a moment. She has started with 8 consecutive strikes against Shannon Sellens. That is an elimination bracket match. First, Shannon O'Keefe looking for a strike of her own in the 8th frame. Looking for a little hold, does not get it. 3, 4, 6, 10 in the 8th. Taylor up on the approach here. Let's head over there real quick. Oh, gets him to mix. 9 in a row. Young PWBA Tour rookie. Just the 2 for Shannon there. And Max drops to 2 at 22. It looks like Taylor's on the approach. Looking for 10 in a row. That one way left. Way left, not going to get the hits. They're going to have the lead. With the strike in the 8th, she can make it a double. She'll take the lead in this match. Taylor Bailey going to be in the 270s. Impressive start to kick things off here this morning. Spare good for Danielle. Her max now 212 with the 10th frame left to go. O'Keefe can get up here in the 9th and 10th strikeout for 222. Looking to bounce back after the split in frame number 8. Clara Guerrero, chance to shoot 279 this game over on 53 and 54 against Kayla Pashina. It's a winner's bracket match.
Clara, very fortunate to survive that first round match against Amanda Vermilia, but then, you know, sometimes you just need a break like that to loosen you up, and then you're kind of playing on house money. Much better shot there from Shannon. I believe she just made a bad shot in the 8th.
Yeah, it looked like she kind of came out of the shot at the end there. So just left the whole way and paid the price, but much better shot there.
And I feel like that's the difference between her look and Danielle's look. You know, Danielle can get away with, you know, missing a little bit in because of how she's playing the lanes, where Shannon really can't. And that's the difference. You know, Shannon's going to have to out-execute Danielle.
Going to be in the 220s here. Probably grabbing a different bowling ball, though, for the fill. Alexis Nyer up 198 to 191 after game one against Brianna Clemmer. Gigi Mason in position to have a lead over Erin McCarthy after one. Sandra Bingora can still shoot 268. Deandra in the books at 204. Sandra with the first one in the 10th, so she's already in the 250s, can still get to the 260s.
So 220 for Shannon. She tried a different line and a different ball. Notice that ball much sharper back in reaction. But, that one went high. So, she jumped a zone left with that ball. And now she's in the middle of Danielle's traffic. And so that's going to be the issue. When she's forced to move in, she's going to have to go right into where Danielle had started. And so that's why I think it's important for her to jump out to an early lead. She will have a small lead going into game number 2. But when that transition happens, you have to think that the match is going to swing in Danielle's favor in terms of ball reaction.
Taylor Bailey, 279 to 159 advantage over Shannon Sellens. Rocio in the spot to have a lead over Caitlin Johnson. Danielle's going to be, or essentially have it less than 10 pins here after game one. Missy Parkin up 236 to 222 against Jordan Richard. That is the winner's bracket matchup.
Danielle we've seen this progression for her, in these matches all week. She's got this ball that she goes to when the idle starts to burn up. And then when this ball is a little, skid flippy, I guess would be the way to describe it. She's got another ball she can go to and get even further left. So she's got all the bases covered. I don't know if Shannon does. I don't know if Shannon really, I'm sure she has a plan. She always has a plan. But certainly the advantage in terms of the progression and Danielle knowing what she needs to go to when she sees certain things in her favor.
220 to 212 out of the gates here. Clara Guerrero up 263 to 192 over Kayla Pashina after game one. Going to be pretty close between Julia Bond and Stephanie Johnson on 45 and 46. CDB finishes with 183, so she's going to be trailing Verity Crawley. Verity can still get to 235 this game if she strikes out in the 10th. Liz Culkin is going to build a lead against Elise Bolton. Elise with 166 to start. Culkin at 216. Liz Johnson ahead of Lindsay Boomershine. Liz is going to be in the 220s. Lindsay in the books at 179. Brianna Cote is going to have the advantage over Brandy Branca after game one. Ngora 257 to 204. Gigi Mason 216 to 190 over Erin McCarthy after one. $180 to $179 after one. Cara Mangiola, a pin ahead of Tanya Ramenper. 243 to 195 advantage Rocio over Caitlin Johnson. And Dasha, despite the three opens, just 2 pins down after game one, 177 to 175 against Josie Barnes. JT Do you know the last time a player successfully defended the Queen's title? I only know because I cheated and I looked.
It's been a long time.
That is correct. It has been a long time.
Would that be Millie?
Not that long,
Okay.
but throwing it back to the 80s for this one. It's kind of a name that falls under the radar. She found a way to win back-to-back years in the early 80s.
I don't know.
It is Katsuko Sugimoto.
That is a name that falls under the radar.
She won in 1981 and then defended the title successfully in 1982. And the year after that, Alita still won. Then she was the runner-up in 1984, and then Alita won in 1985. So Alita was a game away from winning the Queens 3 years in a row.
You can really tell the difference between the way the balls are going through the pins. Danielle went ahead and made the ball change, and it just looked really, really good going through the pins. Shannon has hit the pocket the last two shots and went flat 10 and light mixer with a 10-pin falling late. And that one jumps high. So, I think Shannon's in big trouble right now. Good break knocking over the 7-pin, but this match, even though Shannon's got a small lead, this is Danielle's to win at this point.
These competitors have gotten very familiar with this 42-foot condition provided this week, laid down expertly each and every time by Kegel. And for Kegel, with products for bowling centers and coaches and mechanics, Kegel is truly built for bowling. Be sure to visit kegel.net to learn more about all they do for our great sport. Thank you to Kegel, a long time and the official lane maintenance provider of the USBC Queens PWBA Tour, USBC long and short duration events.
That one was in and it just laid off and rings a 10. But with the ball reaction Danielle has right now, Shannon's going to have to make some kind of major move. And, the problem for her is, the only time she got into big trouble this week was when she tried to play left. And it looks like she's going to need to do that to have any chance against Danielle.
After the day Brianna Klimmer had yesterday, we were talking about her opponents needing to throw a bunch of strikes at her, and Alexis and I are doing that right now, front 8. Against Klimmer over on 13 and 14. Some struggles for Brianna as well, so her scoring pace has slowed down. She can max this game with strikes in the 9th and 10th for 220. Could potentially be down 80 heading into the final game. And Gora looking to jump ahead big time against Deandra. Sandra with the front 4. 3 consecutive splits for D. She made one of them, but was already down 50 plus heading into game 2. So she's in big time trouble here. Lindsay Boomershine to start it off with 3 in a row after 179 in the opener against Liz Johnson. Liz, no doubles yet, still clean though. Exchanging strikes and spares. There's McCune, a 5th frame. O'Keefe delivered the double. Uh-oh. That one way out there. .215, 196. Birgit ahead of Diana Z after 1. 235, 183 advantage. Verdi Crawley over Carolyn Dorn Ballard. Alexis Scott striking the 9th, adds the 1 in the 10th. 2 away. Let's go. Some early morning striking here at the NBS. Alexis Nair. She's become the 2nd player to roll a 300 game this week. Taylor Bailey, after 279 in the opener, can still shoot 280 in game 2. She was already up 120 after game number 1. It's Shannon Sellens and Alexis up to 11. All right, let's go. All right, let's see. Alexis Nair couldn't be any more far away from us. She's on 13 and 14. She's up on the approach. Going for 300. Based off of that reaction, I think she got it. We have 300, folks. We're up to 2. Alexis Nair. How cool is that? For the Nair family, the brother-sister connection. Anthony making the show at the U.S. Open earlier this year, making the 710. Becoming an international celebrity just like that. Now Alexis, 300 game here in this very same venue. Very cool stuff. Congratulations, Alexis. She's going to have 498 at the turn, and she's going to be leading by more than 100 with 1 to go against Brianna Clement. JT is back. JT got the video. 300 game. I was just saying, how cool is it that for the success her brother had here at the U.S. Open earlier in the year, Alexis come out here and shoot 300. Pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, the Ginger Assassin twins.
So we're up to 2 this week.
Yeah, it's making progress on that 4.5 over under.
4.5 is in play. Didn't seem in play yesterday. There's still a long ways to go. I'm saying there's a chance.
Yeah. Well, and Sandra Gongora at the front 6 as I was down there. Oh, she just missed. Sorry. Thought you had a chance at another one.
Danielle has bounced back nicely. Did the errant shot in the 5th frame. Danielle just locked in right now.
She is, but Shannon hanging in there.
.249 still out there this game for Shannon. If Danielle is unable to strike out, depending on if she didn't strike in the 9th, that drops her to the 240s as well for a max score. Just gotta get up. Four pin last time on that lane.
Yeah, she just doesn't have a lot of room. I mean, it's insane at all match. Her ball reaction is not even close to as good as what Danielle has. And, Danielle should win this match. And, Shannon's afraid to jump left because the one time she tried it this week, it led to, complete disaster. I mean, not just a couple of 190s. I mean, she shot 460 for 3 trying to play in. And so I just don't think she's going to even try it.
So what you're saying is Shannon is going to hunker down and attempt to outbowl what she has, similar to what we saw Liz Johnson do in that 300 game.
Exactly.
Oh, goodness. Oh.
Wow.
Dead tug.
that was not a good shot.
That was left early and often. Catches the hit, though. A slight tape adjustment after that. She's had 2 shots get away from her this game. 5th frame. It's quickly to the right. Brooklyn there in the 9th frame.
Yeah, she's gotten away with both of them, really. I mean, able to get away with the spare on the one in the 5th, and then a strike to extend her string to a 4-bagger. Good break there, breaking up the big 4. So certainly going to have to think about a move, I think. Because I think that shot was pretty good, that first one in the 10th there. And again, we saw this transition happen, against Tanya, and she was able to just move a little bit left with the same ball and still have a really nice ball reaction and the ball going through the pins very well. So I don't think she's really in need of another ball change at this point. But and she's certainly feels the same way. She's not even going to try to get a look at another ball. She's going to jump a little bit further left on this one. But yeah, she's having a few issues with execution at this point. So kind of letting Shannon hang around.
Got to finish with 243. She'll be at plus 55.
Big 10th frame here for Shannon. She really can't afford to throw an open frame here and get way behind.
Max score 229 this game.
Good shot there.
So Danielle's going to have the lead, but yes, it could be less than 10 here. She's able to deliver the double. Aaron McCarthy is going to have the lead against Gigi Mason heading into game 3. McCarthy in the books at 4:35 through 2. Best Mason can be at is 4:06. There's the double. Sandra Gongora back-to-back 257 games out of the gates. She's got a 130-pin lead just about over Deandra. Some struggles this game for Liz Johnson. Lindsay Boomershine's going to be right back in that matchup. Over on 29-30. Liz Culkin's going to have the lead heading into the final game against Elise Bolton. Elise throwing some late strikes here, though. Julia Bond, a chance to shoot 290. Game 2 against Stephanie Johnson. She was up 10, but that lead is going to skyrocket. Missy Parkin's going to hold the advantage over Jordan Richard heading into game 3. Missy in the books at 434. Jordan can get to 417, so less than 20 there. Claire Guerrero up 444 to 367 against Kayla Pashina. Taylor Bailey 515 at the turn. Way ahead of Shannon Sellens.
Wow. Another iffy shot there by Danielle, but gets away with the strike.
6 pins the difference.
Boy, I don't know who to say has the advantage at this point. I mean, Danielle has the better ball reaction, but she's made some pretty iffy shots. Shannon just trying to grind her way through it. But this one could be really interesting here in game number 3.
It's going to be pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, she's starting to execute. But you would think at some point during this game she's going to have to make an adjustment. So the question's going to be, can she keep up with Danielle once that happens?
.441, 381. Culkin ahead of Bolton. Winners bracket match.
We did say earlier in the week, Aaron. Oh man, that was a good shot. That Danielle obviously is capable of playing the lanes the way she's playing them right now, but we haven't really seen her have to throw shots under pressure doing this. I mean, this is probably her B or C game, and is her physical game going to hold up when she needs to make shots under pressure, doing something that her body's not completely. I mean, if we've seen her win so many times, keeping the ball in front of her and throwing it nice and hard and straight, but can she keep the same level of execution with this new trick that she's added to her game?
Defending champion Dasha Kovalova down by 29 pins heading into the final game against Josie Barnes, 391 to 362.
Good shot there. Able to take advantage of that lucky break in the first and turn it into a double.
Tanya Ramenfer up 404 to 371 against Cara Mangiola. Julia Bond's going to be up about 80. And Stephanie Johnson with 1 to go. Verity Crawley will hold the lead against CDB.
That's way right. Wow, another good break. Just breaking up the washout. This is getting very interesting here. And no trouble on the spare.
I think that's an interesting point you brought up, JT, about the fact that Danielle hasn't had to face the pressure of. Okay. But you mentioned something that's not necessarily potentially A-game material here. Diving deep into the bag of tricks. And, I'm sure Danielle is fully aware of the shot-making capabilities of her opponent in this situation. And
well, the point, Aaron, I think is she's always been great at going up the lane and throwing it hard, right? And the shot that you need to make a quality pressure shot when you're do or die situation, throwing the ball that way is very different than what you need to think about when you're throwing it the way she's throwing it now. Right now, staying soft and slow and soft with her hand at the point of release is a much different feeling than just jamming it high hard one up into the pocket. So the question is going to be, can she continue to control the way she feels and take advantage? A good break there for Shannon, breaking up the 3.6.710, but it's just a different feeling, right? And she hasn't had as many reps under pressure throwing the ball this way as she has, throwing the ball the way she normally likes to throw it in her A game. So it's going to be very interesting to watch, especially if Shannon can keep some pressure on her. It looks like she's starting to lose her ball reaction a little bit and is going to have to make that move that we talked about just a minute ago. But Danielle certainly seems to be fighting it a little bit right now.
Verity Crawley up 65 with 1 to go against CDB. 450 to 385. That's pretty good.
She's certainly comfortable on that lane. And I don't know if she's starting to lose this left lane a little bit or maybe just throwing a few bad shots. But this seems to be the lane that is going to be the key for Danielle. Luckily, she won't have to finish on it.
Better shot. Gets in the mix.
The advantage Danielle's had all week is when she's been able to hit the pocket, her carry's been fantastic because of the way she's playing the lanes. So if she can just figure out a way to execute to keep hitting the pocket, she's going to have the advantage basically against whoever it is that she rolls.
That's right.
Fortunate just to leave a 2-pin. Yeah, I mean, Shannon's just in a tough spot. You know, she gets one a little left and at 3/6-10s. And so she tells herself, don't get it a little left. And she gets a little right at 2 pins. She really doesn't have a lot. If she's not willing to jump left, which I don't think she will be because of, you know, what happened earlier in the week, she's going to have to do something. We saw Tanya Raumenper make a great adjustment yesterday when she was in this same exact situation. She just bumped a little left with her feet and went around it a little more to get the ball through the front part of the lane cleaner, and really pushed Danielle all the way to the end. Looks like that's exactly what Shannon did there. Just bumped a little bit left, a little nicer to it, a little bit more around the side, and she's got a chance. But Danielle, with a couple strikes here, can really almost put this match away. Pretty good shot. Got a little right. Ball burned up a little too much and was a little lazy coming into the pocket.
But no harm done in that situation.
No harm done.
Take
No harm
that all
done.
day. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, she fills frames here. She's going to win this match, you know, 9 times out of 10.
So the match is starting to wrap up here. Alexis Nair, 707 to 627 victory over Brianna Clemmer. So Clemmer has been eliminated. Nair with the 300 game on the way to the win. Looks like Erin McCarthy is going to get the victory over Gigi Mason. She started this game with the front 7, so still striking. Gigi a max of 225. McCarthy was already up in that match. So 300 watch Erin McCarthy. Sandra Gongora is going to get the win against Deandra. Sandra can still get into the 750s here.
Really good shot there.
Max for Shannon, 245 this game.
Yeah, we're starting to get down to crunch time. Shannon really is going to need to strike here in the 7th. This is a huge one. She's working on a strike. Danielle also working on a strike. Danielle very well lined up. Gotta have it.
There's one.
Probably needs to have this one too.
She doesn't get this one. She drops into the 220s. Uh-oh. Big 4, 8th frame. Disaster for O'Keefe. She's going to take the 2. That's going to put her at 147 in the 8th. Max score of 207. McCune can stay clean here in the 8th, 9th, and 10th, and she is going to advance, get one step closer, making the Bowl TV finals here at the Queens. Just have to stay clean, rest of the way out. Good to go. Danielle makes it a double. She has been cool, calm, and collected this entire week. It's been all business. It's 2 frames away from sending two-time reigning PWBA Player of the Year to the elimination bracket. Oh, well, hurtful, yes, but you'll take it in this situation. Just need to fill the fray. 747 to 580. Sandra with the wind over Deandra. Aaron McCarthy, front 10 now. She's going to get the win against Gigi Mason. Can we get our third 300 game here? Danielle's just going to need keep the ball in the lane here. Shannon strikes out, otherwise won't even need that. Taylor Bailey a win, 696 for Shannon Sellens. Tanya is going to eliminate Cara Mangiola. And Aaron McCarthy, our second 300 here in this opening round of competition today in the 735-609 victory over Gigi Mason. Alexis Nair and Aaron McCarthy on the path to perfection. .207 finish for O'Keefe. So just a couple pins here for Danielle, and she is going to move on.
And that's going to do it. Danielle McEwen will move on in the winner's bracket. She did what she had to do. Shannon gave her a good match, but that big 4 in the 8th frame just did her in. I'll tell you, Danielle, it really has to be the favorite to be the number one seed. Certainly, you got to give her a great chance of making the show at the very least. But, we'll see if somebody's able to push her a little bit. She's had, certainly a big advantage in ball reaction, these last couple of matches. And that's part of the game. I mean, you got to give her a lot of credit for what she's been able to do this week and how she's been playing the lanes, with her B or C game.
That match wrapped up. We're going to head over to 49-50. Missy Parkin against Jordan Richard. Missy was up by 17 pins entering this game, but a 10-pin in frame number 9 for Missy is going to drop her max to 213 with a spare and striking out 236 still out there for Jordan Richard. So she's going to have the opportunity to step up here in the 9th or 10th and win this one. I found it pretty crazy. Jordan mentioned to us when we talked to her a couple days ago after she led the opening round that she had never won a match here at Queens, and now looking to go 3-0.
Yeah, we knew that trend wasn't going to continue forever.
So big shot here. Frame number 9 for the 2018 PWBA Rookie of the Year. Pretty close, but can't get the 10 out. Clara Guerrero is going to move on to the next round of the winner's bracket. She has defeated Kayla Pashina. Final tally, 689, 656 in the McHugh and O'Keefe match.
As close as it gets right here, just about. Less than a 10-pin difference. So basically, whoever performs in the 10th is going to walk away with the win in this match. Oh, just gets. I don't even know if Jordan saw that. Huge break, tripping the 4. Now one more strike, and that's going to force Missy to double. There it is. High flush.
So another strike on the fill will get Jordan to 215 this game. So that's going to put her at 631 for the set. So I don't think Missy needs the double. I think just still needs a mark with good count.
Yeah, you're right.
.734, 637 victory. Julia Bond over Stephanie Johnson. Verdi Crowley on her way to a victory against CBB. I think that's going to be Verdi and Danielle next match. Missy. You take the 10 pin here. 10 pins in play. Spare 6. That's what the 2011 champion needs right here. No problem on the spare. No strikes since frame 3, but filled every frame. Now 6 pins will be enough to get the win. It's going to be 9. 2:01, the final game here for a 4-pin victory. Missy Parkin over Jordan Richard in the winner's bracket. Let's see what else we got going on here. All right, we're going to take a sneak peek into the Diana Birgit matchup. Verdi on her way to winning that one. Heading into this game, Birgit was up by 16. This one, very, very close. There's the spare for DZ. She can shoot 236. Best Birgit can get to is 212. So Diane can step up here, double, and win. So Diana, the 2-time Queens champion, 2013 and 2017. Double away from moving on in the winner's bracket. Birgit's going to have the opportunity to win this one. 6'10" first shot. Drops the max down to 224. Should be 625. Birgit would need a double and 7. If that's the case. First things first, spare conversion made. We had Rocio defeat Caitlin Johnson 678 to 157. Our defending champion has been eliminated. Josie Barnes with a 629-609 victory over Dasha Kovalova. So Dash's run here in 2021 has come to a close. So here's the situation. Double for Biergen. Who made the show here in 2016, had a phenomenal performance in 2016. Setting a couple records along the way for the Queens. Not wasting any time here. Double is what's needed. 224, 625. DZ in the books. One looks left and leaves the same thing. So Diana is going to get the victory here. Stay in the winner's bracket. Brandy Bronca, a 631-604 victory to eliminate Brianna Cote. Liz Johnson with a 652-592 win over Lindsay Boomershine. Liz Culkin with the win over Elise Bolton. And Diana getting the victory here. How about that? Just like that. First round has been completed. So we have about a 20-minute interlude here until we're going to kick off with the next set of matches. Here's what we have in the winners bracket. We're going to have Danielle McCune taking on Verity Crawley on 47 and 48. Missy Parkin taking on Liz Culkin on 55 and 56. That's the left side of the winners bracket. Over on the right side on 59 and 60, Julia Bond against Liz Johnson. And then on 51 and 52, Diana Z taking on Clara Guerrero. Talk about a top 8 here in the winners bracket. Now the players in the winners bracket who were eliminated will be competing in the, wait, that didn't sound right. The players in the winners bracket who lost are now going to compete in the elimination bracket this upcoming match. So for those players, have to have a short memory and shake off the previous match. Quickly refocus again for 3 more game total pinfall format here. We'll get you those matchups in just a moment. But right now, winners bracket matchups. Danielle versus Verity. Missy versus Liz Culkin. Liz Johnson versus Julia Bond, and Diana Z against Clara Guerrero coming up next here on Bowl TV, folks. So we're going to start preparing for that. And we'll be right back here for continued coverage of USBC Queens here in 2021 from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. I'm Aaron Smith along with Jason Thomas, Mike Flanagan. Ready for more excitement. 8 players have been eliminated down to the top 24. 8 remain in the winners bracket here from the NBS. So we'll be back approximately 1:30 p.m. Eastern, 10:30 local time here in Reno.
I know, that's great. Why do you think they're happening down there? Right? Well, that wasn't the best ending there. What happened? Diana beat Berrigan. A couple brooks. And Keith she hit a four-bagger to get into Berrigan made a terrible shot at 10, so she still could have won. Yeah. Those hurt. Yeah. But hey, that's what happens in match play. That is. That's what happens sometimes. And that's what makes it cool, too. Yes. This match, maybe on the other side. Yeah.
Gigi Mason, if you're still in the building, please come to the bracket table. Gigi Mason to the bracket table. Gigi Mason, if you're still in the building, please come to the bracket table. Gigi Mason to the bracket table. You're not in trouble, I promise. Athletes, please report to your starting pair. Please report to your starting pair. Good morning on behalf of the USBC and our gold partners, 900 Global, Kegel, Rotogrip, and Storm. Thank you for staying at the National Bowling Stadium for the 2021 USBC Queens. This morning we have another exciting round of both the winners and elimination bracket. Each match will consist of 3 games total in. Winners move on and 8 players will end their run at the Queens TR. Athletes, at this time, you will now get 10 minutes of warm-up. We ask that you continue to wear your mask over your nose and under your chin. And at this time, please put away your electronic devices as they may no longer be used during competition. I will choose who will start the match on the left lane. And the winner of the match will platform after practical. All right, ladies, your arrows are up. They're all giving a full set of hands.
All right, everybody, we are back and ready to continue here in bracket play. 2021 USBC Queens, first major of the 2021 PWBA Tour season. 8 players remain in the winner's bracket, 2 wins away from guaranteeing themselves a spot in tomorrow's Bowl TV Stepladder Finals, 8 p.m. Eastern. 24 players remain in the field. We have elimination and winners of bracket matches across the house right now. We are all on the high side now, so all matches to the right of the center aisle, and we're going to start off here on 47 and 48. Danielle McCune, the top overall qualifier, has been dominant throughout competition this week, taking on Verity Crawley. The other matchups across the house available on Bowl TV on 39 and 40. Tanya Ramampur against Stephanie Johnson. That is an elimination bracket match. We're watching Danielle and Verity on 47 and 48. On 51 and 52, we have Clara Guerrero taking on two-time champion Diana Z. 55 and 56, Liz Culkin and Missy Parkin, the 2011 champion. Those last two we mentioned, both in the winner's bracket. The final winner's bracket match on 59 and 60. Liz Johnson, two-time Queens champion against Julia Bahand. Over on 63 and 64, another elimination bracket match. CDB, Carolyn Dorn-Ballard taking on Brandy Branca. On 67 and 68, Shannon O'Keefe versus Erin McCarthy. McCarthy fresh off a 300 game in the last round in her victory over Gigi Mason. And on 71 and 72, Sandra Gongora taking on Elise Bolton. Other matches in the house at the moment. On 75 and 76, Jordan Richard against Alexis Nair. On 43 and 44, Josie Barnes versus Kayla Pachina. 35 and 36, Lindsay Boomershine against Taylor Bailey. And then on 31 and 32, Rocio Restrepo taking on Birgit Norrice.
They just keep getting better and better, these matches, don't they?
This winner's bracket is just absurd how great it is.
It is. It's awesome. This is going to be an interesting match here on our featured pair. We've watched Danielle the last 2 rounds win pretty easily over 2 great players, Tanya Ramampur and Shannon O'Keefe. But she's had a definite advantage in ball reaction in these 2 matches. And she's going to have to take on a player who's a lot more comfortable playing left in Verity Crawley. And already we're seeing Danielle into the second ball in that progression early on here in this match.
One thing we did see at the start of practice was Verity was using something that looked to be thrown out in the parking lot prior.
little surface.
Had a little surface on it prior to kind of on the outside portion of the lane during the practice session. So I'm not sure if she's been doing that throughout the course of her match play appearances to maybe open up a little spot for herself down lane, as you mentioned, trying to with her higher rev rate, looking to create a little bit more shape out there. So see how that affects. But yeah, this has usually been more of a game 2 ball for Danielle from what we've seen these past couple of matches is when she makes the switch to it. So, but these are the moments that she's been preparing for all week, though, and trying to gather extra information. So I'm sure she knows the next ball in the bag once that ball starts to lose a little energy, but has looked really good so far here in the early going, 3 for 3.
Yeah, I agree, and it does make sense now that you mentioned, Verity's strategy in breaking down the lanes that Danielle's already gone into, the second ball in the progression, and they are going to break down even faster than what she's used to, I believe, with Verity playing left as well. So we know she's got a third ball in the progression. We've seen that one come out in earlier matches, but will she have to go to a fourth ball? Who knows? And you know, if Verity can hang with her and throw some strikes, this could be a very, very interesting match.
Reviewing the bracket and how they got here. Danielle, a 732-676 win over Brianna Clemmer in the first round. 636-619 over Tanya Ramanpur to wrap up yesterday, and then a 685-656 victory over Shannon O'Keefe to kick things off today. That's how Danielle has gotten down to the top 8 for Verity. A 706-575 win against Angie Ramirez-Perea. 683-630 over Shannon Sellens, and then 706-599 over CDB, Carolyn Doran Ballard. So Verity has essentially averaged 230 so far in her 3 wins.
Danielle looking great. Her first 4 shots here. And I'll tell you what, Aaron, if Danielle is able to go on and win this tournament, it's going to be so huge for her confidence, because, you know, it's one thing to win, you know, tournaments doing what you like to do, playing your A game. But when you can start to win tournaments playing your B and C game, which is kind of what this is for Danielle, I mean, that just opens up a whole new world of confidence.
Been the dominant player throughout on this 42-foot condition. Never outside the top 5 in qualifying. Took out the overall lead in the final round. Her first non-strike here. Once again, 3-game total pinfall matches leading up to the stepladder finals. She'll look to clean up the spare here. Essentially all even. Based off max scores. The halfway point. Again, live scoring is available for every matchup here to follow your favorite athletes as they make their journey here through the Queen's bracket. Eight channels available. Single pin left for Verity in the 6th frame. And as we progress through this match, just a friendly reminder, Storm Bowling is the leading manufacturer of high-performance bowling equipment. Be sure to visit your local VIP Pro Shop to pick up your new Storm bowling ball and bowl up a Storm. Storm, a proud industry partner here for USBC events and the PWBA Tour. Got some strikes adding up on 75 and 76. Jordan Richard can max out at 290. Alexis Nair max at 270. It's an elimination bracket match over there. Alexis, fresh off shooting 300 in her last round against Brianna Clemmer.
Yeah, we got video of that posted on the USBC and PWBA Facebook page, as well as the PWBA Instagram page. So that match was not on one of our featured pairs. So the Ginger Assassin's sister, I guess we could call them the Ginger Assassin twins now. Both have big highlights in the National Bowling Stadium.
They certainly do. The 710 heard around the world by Anthony back at the U.S. Open on TV. Alexis with the 300 here. Pretty awesome stuff. Verity up, 7th frame. Pair of spares in her last. 2 times up, but 10 back.
This is going to be a good one, Aaron.
We've been fortunate. We've picked a couple good ones so far this week. It's been really fun watching these matches progress. 8th frame here for Verity. That's really good. Prior to the start of the Queens, Verity bowled at the USBC Women's Championships. And she had herself quite a day, taking over the lead in the Diamond Singles Division. A 793 series, had a chance at 800. Heading into her final frame. But did just enough to grab the lead, and now wait and see if she can take home the gemstone title at the WC.
That was a beautiful strike right there. That is exactly how you want to see the ball go through the pins. Oh, yeah. It's fun to watch. Super fun to watch, Aaron.
These matches are a treat, and I believe that Verity is using a different ball on each lane. I thought she was using a blue one on the left lane here. Let's Take a little bit closer look as she gets ready for the 10th.
Yeah, you're
Makes
right.
it 3 in a row.
Yeah, you're definitely correct. And, it'll be interesting to see if that impacts Danielle's look throughout the match.
.246 still out there for Verdi. 268 the max for Danielle. High scoring matchup. To kick things off. Oh,
Just runs over the 8-pin. You know your ball's going through the pins the right way when the ball's taking out the 8-pin.
Kayla Pashina, 265 in the opener against Josie Barnes. Josie can max out at 205, so at least a 60-pin advantage for Kayla.
Like, if you're listening in the chat right now and you don't think we're as excited sounding as what we say we are, it's because we're sitting right behind this match, and we're also on about a 20-second delay. So we would be yelling and screaming if we could.
Absolutely, yes.
But this is awesome.
Also awesome is Jordan Richard just shot a Vera Papa 300. Where's Flanagan at? I don't know if that counts, but 290 to 249, the advantage after a 1 against Alexis Nair. And she struck on the first shot of game 2. So
What did Alexis shoot?
249.
Okay.
So nearly shoot 250, down 40.
Yeah, because she had a chance for 270 going into the 10th.
So Verdi's going to finish at 235. Any mark here for Danielle, and she will have the advantage. And based off of her track record so far, I'm going to guess she's probably going to find a way to mark here. We've watched her a lot. There have been very, very few open frames from Danielle over the course of these match play.
Yeah, I mean,
rounds.
what she's doing, Aaron, is what we see a lot of times Belmo do. Belmo is able to get left of everybody and have a bunch of margin for error. And sometimes his carry isn't the best, but because he never misses the pocket, he can get away with a 10-pin every now and then, whereas, everybody else in the field has less margin for error. They're leaving big fours and other things. And the thing that's so remarkable about that, Aaron, is that we're talking about Danielle McEwen, the queen of firing it up the lane and, playing straight. And she's added this tool to her game to be able to get left of everybody. And I mean, gosh, just think of the possibilities for her if she's able to, on weeks when you can get left and do this and be this good at it, and then on the weeks when you can just keep the ball in front of you, I mean, she could win 7-8 titles in a season.
.257, 235 in game 1, 22-pin advantage. DMAC ahead of Verdi. Tanya Ramenper up 10 pins, 205 to 195 against Stephanie Johnson. Another high-scoring match developing on 55 and 56. Missy Parkin in the books at 254. Liz Culkin can strike out to get to 238. How about this one? Julia Bond and Liz Johnson. Liz up by 2 pins, 235, 233. All these winners bracket matches, putting up some numbers. Shannon O'Keefe, Aaron McCarthy, 256 to 246. McCarthy ahead by 10. One of the few matches with a little more lopsided effort. Elise Bolton up 236 to 163 on Sandra Gongora after 1. few other matches still wrapping up here. Lindsay Boomershine's going to be ahead of Taylor Bailey. Taylor can max out at 199 with all three in the 10th. Lindsay already in the books at 226. And Birgit's going to have a slight advantage over Rocio. A bit of a strange hit there.
Yeah, that was, and you know, you wonder if that was the lane maybe burning up a little bit, and she got it right, and then the ball kind of rolled out and didn't get back, or if it was just, you know, a miss in and it just pushed too much, because we've seen that ball in the past create a read where the lanes seem to be playing a little bit more cliffed. So it's hard to tell from this angle what kind of miss that was there, but certainly Verity, you know, playing left with Danielle is going to cause Danielle to see some different transition than she's had to see the last couple of matches where her opponents played right of her with surface. Yeah, it certainly looks like what's interesting is usually your ball starts to hook high, right? But because she's circling it so much, you could actually see the ball hit light because it just kind of loses energy a little bit too early. So one of the things that I think Danielle would have hoped, you know, at the end of that last game was to throw one more strike in the 10th and maybe get a look at her next ball. And she didn't get to do that. And so now she's going to have to decide, you know, if she's going to make a cold move here, you know, without getting a look at that next ball in the lineup.
Back-to-back opens to start.
And she's going to the other ball. I can see her grabbing it already.
Put it over in the bowler's area. So she's looks like jotting some things down on the notebook as well.
Yeah, but this is interesting because, you know, she hasn't had to go to this ball this early in any of her matches, and she hasn't been behind in any of her matches. And if, you know, Verity can get up and throw a double here, she'll be behind.
One other report from game one. Randy Branca up 20 pins, 203 to 183 against Carolyn Dorn Ballard. Liz Culkin did strike out, so that one 254 to 238 against Missy Harkin.
Did you see Verity, that little fist pump there? I don't know if you noticed that, Aaron, but I mean, just these players know what's going on. And that was just a little message. Hey, I know you're lost. I'm not. That was huge for Danielle to see right there.
Diana Z up 49 against Clara Guerrero, 237 to 188 after game one. Verity cleans up at the spare, and here comes the ball change.
Yeah, you could see it. It was obvious. But, you know, again, she didn't get a chance to throw it on her fill ball last game. So now it's just a cold move. It's a complete guess as to where she's going to stand. And this ball is going to be a little cleaner through the front and a little stronger on the back. And it snaps on the back. I think she's okay with that. That's the shape she wanted to see.
So has to make the adjustment off that. Since
yeah, she'll get a little left, and The question now is going to be, is it going to be a little cliffed? If she gets it in, is it going to come in a little too far behind the head pin and leave a lot of 10 pins?
Oh,
Wow.
three early opens for the top qualifier.
Wow. That ball is just jumping off the spot.
Just the one.
Man.
32 in the fourth.
Chance for Verity to really just jump all over it.
This is an opportunity you don't get too often against Danielle. Looks in. Use the 3-6.
Well, you hate throwing those kind of shots because now you're not getting a read, because Danielle went higher last two shots. So Verity would have to start wondering, hey, are they starting to transition? Do I need to make a move here? And then you throw a shot like that and you're not sure. And so now your next shot, you're going to have to make a guess. But probably happy just to leave the 3-6 and able to convert it. Wow. Time to move, ladies.
47.
That was a good shot.
7's getting a little crispy here.
We've seen it all week, Aaron. This fire, oil, medium, volume, the transition's happening very, very quickly. And these two players playing on top of each other from in, it's just going to be a race. It's basically a game of leapfrog, and Danielle's going with another ball here. This one, I think my guess is this one's a little smoother. Not going to make the turn off the back end as sharply, but it's going to be clean through the front, just like the previous ball she tried to throw. So this is a clean, smooth ball. Nice move. Very, very smart move there.
That looked great.
I mean, a lot of players would keep trying to move left off those two high shots she threw. But by moving left, she'd be creating a situation where they would be very cliffed. And so she made a really smart move. Stayed to the right, threw a ball that was a little bit smoother off the spot, and she's able to stay in that zone where she's comfortable.
Big time double.
Let's see what Verity does now. What's her move going to be?
Taking a look at online scoring, Missy Parkin, who's in the 250s last game as well, starting in a similar fashion. 3 consecutive splits in her matchup against Liz Culkin, 26 in the third.
Yeah, and the winner of that match will face the winner of this one. And Verity, I think because she made a bad shot on that on this lane the last time, she didn't realize she needed to move. And now, has let Danielle really right back in this thing. Pretty fun watching these matches and how they unfold and all the strategy that goes into it. How quickly the tide can change. Just looked like a little nicer to it. Didn't move her feet, just kind of stayed in the same spot and didn't hit it quite as hard. And that one lays off. And that's a similar move to what Danielle did with the ball change, except Verity did it with a touch adjustment rather than a ball change.
Just like the 32 in the fourth, and she's essentially even this particular game up to maintain her lead.
Yeah, no, it just all comes down to making the right move at the right time. And we just saw her make a great one right there. Great ball change. That's why it's so important to know your equipment. Know what your options are, what your strengths are.
Four in a row. Oh,
wow, what a bad break.
Wow. Unbelievable.
I mean, because that ball's smoother, it's not going to go through the pins like, the first ball she was throwing. But, you shouldn't be getting breaks like that.
It's going to be her 5th open here in game 2.
So Verity looks like she's going to make a ball change on this right lane to the ball she's throwing on the left lane.
One match finishing up after 2. Kayla Pashina still leads, but much closer match now, 445 to 436 against Josie Barnes. Makes the change, makes it a double. Jordan Richard up 5-11, 423. One to go against Alexis Nair.
Vicious strike there.
.219 still available this game for Verity. And Yellow maxing out at 178. So Verity in position to take the lead. heading into game 3. And that Julia Bond or Liz Johnson match is about as crazy close as you would expect it to be.
Got a really interesting 10th frame coming up for Danielle. She knows, her look with that ball that she's switched to, already starting to go away. So, do you go ahead and make the jump left with that other ball that hooks more on the back, or do you move left with this current bowling ball, knowing that you're already at a point where you're leaving flat 10s? Just going to give it a try, but my guess is she'll try to get a strike here or a double and then get a look at that other ball one more time. And then based on what Verity does, that'll make her decision which one she decides to go with. Great shot there. And she does have the option of going a little bit left and increasing her axis rotation even more. The question is, if you do that, are they burned up to the point where, you're never going to get the ball through the pins and you're going to flat 10? Yeah, that's the problem.
Aaron McCarthy up 473 to 458 against Shannon O'Keefe. Elise Bolton up 453 to 410 against Sandra Gungor. With the spare 158. She's going to drop to plus 15. So for Verity, huge opportunity to build a pretty big lead here heading into the final game. First shot of the 10th, working on 3 in a row. Pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to beat players who whose A game is not to play left like Verity, but Danielle's in with somebody who's very comfortable doing what Danielle's been able to do successfully all week, and she's gonna need to make some kind of move this last game and take some risks in order to have a chance. Because Verity is very well lined up, and she knows her next move after this too.
For the double, getting to the 2 teens. Oh, gets it. And talked about next move, and she has made her way to the bowling ball bag. Yep, there's a chance to look at something else.
And that's going to compound her advantage, because Danielle didn't get a chance to look at another ball. So Danielle's either going to have to try to make that ball that she's starting to lose her ball reaction with work, or make a cold move. And that one works too.
219, 454 to 415. 39 pin advantage. Verity Crawley with 1 to go. Julia Bond up 19. 469 to 450 against Liz Johnson.
Yeah, she's gonna really tilt this one. She's kind of doing that motion. You can see her hand do that little motion where she's gonna go around it, and she's gonna stick with that same ball and just try to make it work.
Tanya Ramanpur up 10.
Look at her doing that little motion with her hand.
425, 415 against Stephanie Johnson. Let's watch this here. First frame, game 3.
Yep, right around the side of it. And that was sweet.
That went through the pins nicely.
It's very hard to express how good these players are. I mean, the scores are one thing, but Danielle just shot 150. But what she did during that 150 was off the charts good. I mean, a casual observer could watch that and say, well, Danielle's not very good. She just pulled 150. And if you saw all the different things that she tried to do that game to keep scoring, that is what's so impressive.
Verity goes back to the blue ball. I believe that's a promotion. Going back a couple years.
Yeah.
Not going to lie, the only reason I saw that was I looked at the trio Instagram page, their stories yesterday. Verity was very excited to drill that ball. So there you go.
Well, now you can tell why. Oh, wow.
Does not get the forward trip out there.
Well, that's just the opening Danielle needed. She needed Verity to stop striking.
Liz Culkin going to take the lead over Missy Parkin. Mentioned Missy having some struggles to start game 2. 3 opens to start. Culkin with 214. She's going to be at 452. Missy Parkin strikes out. She'll be at 194. Be at plus 48.
Right, she's rehearsing that little flip move with the wrist. She got that one left, and it's not going to lay off. They're already starting to burn up, and she's starting to lose her hold. And she had to make the decision to either jump left or, stay right and trick it, make it work. And that's the problem. You just don't have the hold. And, Verity's, right on the borderline of making a ball change, which means Danielle's going to have to be as well. How much longer does this line hold up before it starts breaking loose and going through the nose?
Lindsay Boomershine up 413 to 363 against Taylor Bailey. 379, 373. Birgit ahead of Rocio. 1 to go.
Yeah, that's going to force Danielle to make a ball change. Needs to make this spare. Hope Verity doesn't run away and hide. My guess is, Verity probably makes the ball change in game 3 if Danielle had done something there to force her to do something. But now that she's not, Verity can stay with this promotion and just keep hitting the pocket. I mean, how many transitions did we see these lanes go through during this match? It had to have been 4 or 5.
It's moved very quickly, and we still got basically another full game to go. About 8 frames of moves. Diana Z going to be up against Clara Guerrero heading into the final game. Brandy Branca up by 6 against CDB. Pretty intriguing matchup. O'Keefe and McCarthy elimination bracket 67-68. McCarthy held the lead heading into the final game. Both of them striking a bit.
I'll tell you a quick story, Aaron. I don't really like to talk about my bowling very much, but I will tell you a story. From this very building, I got the opportunity to bowl the Open Championships with Terrell Owens. And we bowled doubles and singles together. And he moved about 2 boards the whole doubles and singles, 6 games, and didn't bowl very well. And I moved about 25 boards over the 6 games and switched balls twice. And he asked me at the end, why'd you switch balls and move so much? And I said, well, because that's what the lane was telling me to do. They hook more as the day goes on, and you have to stay ahead of the adjustments. And he was amazed that's what goes on. But that's what these players are dealing with, is they are dealing with constant transition. And at the highest, and that ball's burned up. I mean, she needs to make a ball change now. But the lanes are just constantly transitioning, and these players are constantly trying to stay ahead of it. And that's the whole battle. And then you bring scores into play, and risk and reward. Verity, like I said, if Danielle throws a double there in the second and third, Verity definitely ball changes in the 3rd frame. But because Danielle's not putting any pressure on her, there's no reason to make a risky move. But I guarantee you, when Verity gets up in the 5th, she's going to be ball changing.
Looks like she actually might have made that switch there on the spare attempt. Clean through 4. It's up 39 to start. I don't think Danielle's making a change.
No,
here.
She's not. She's going to try to trick it with her hand. And I really don't know how much longer she can stay in that ball. I mean, she just must feel like that other ball that she looked at earlier was just way too strong off the back, and in order to throw it, she'd have to get in a place on the lane where she's just not comfortable what the ball is going to do through the front part of the lane. But at some point, she's gonna get to a point where this ball's not going to be able to get the 10 out, or it's just going to burn up and 2-pin, just like that.
Top seed in trouble here.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, Danielle is behind here and she's playing defensively. Verity's ahead and she's playing aggressively. And she's going to go ahead and make the ball change.
Avoids big trouble there, 6-10.
And, people will probably ask why. Why is that? Why is she playing defensively? And it's because this isn't her A game. Danielle's not used to jumping way left and going left to right with the ball. And so she's trying to play to her strengths right now. She feels like that's going to give her the best possible chance to win. Whereas Verity, you know, she's used to living inside here. This is her wheelhouse.
Got one match wrapping up at 43 and 44. Josie Barnes is going to get the win and eliminate Kayla Pashina. Nice week for Kayla, though. And then a couple matches here at the Queens. Julia Bond. Looks like she's about to send Liz Johnson to the elimination bracket. Spare 5-bagger. Jordan Richard eliminates Alexis Nair 700 to 646. Sandra Gongora trying to mount a comeback against Elise Bolton and struck on 6 of her 7 shots. McCarthy staying ahead of Shannon O'Keefe. If she can fill out the 10th frame, she's going to win here. Final tally 682, 630 Barnes over Pashina.
Big spare there for Verity.
So far, she's just needed to fill frames. There's been no pressure from Danielle.
Yeah, Danielle's still staying with that same bowling ball. She's going to try to make it work, and you know it's just going to flat 10 or 2-pin. She's got to make a ball change. I mean, you're not going to win this match by flat 10ing the rest of the game. So you got to take a chance here and do something drastic.
Looks like she's going to stick with the same bowling ball here. So Shannon O'Keefe has stepped up in the 10th frame, delivered a double to shoot, or she can shoot 258 still. Steinberg does get the hit there. Aaron McCarthy's going to need the first hit in the 10th. Shannon finished it out 258 for 716. McCarthy going can max out at 730. All right. Excellent work, JT.
Thank you.
And there's Aaron. Must strike situation. She's going direct. She is playing him straight.
That's not what I expected to see.
I did not expect that either. Wow. She got the hit. Puts her into the 240s. So good count here. On her second shot, should be enough to hold on. So just need to avoid disaster here on your first shot. She's She's going to be good here. That's more than enough. Aaron McCarthy. Send Shannon O'Keefe out of the 2021 USBC Queens.
Well, let's see if Danielle can make one more perfect shot. I mean, that's basically all she has left is making perfect shots. Oh, good shot. She just doesn't have any room for error like we've seen all week.
Going to have a pretty close finish here between Sandra Gongora and Elise Bolton on 71 and 72 as well in the elimination bracket match. 730 to 716, the final tally between McCarthy and O'Keefe. Julia Bond, 290 for 759. She is going to send Liz Johnson to the elimination bracket. Liz Culkin in good position to win her matchup against Missy Parkin. Missy 3 opens in the first 4 frames. Verity another strike. She's all but wrapped this one up. So we're going to go over to 71 and 72 now. Elise Bolton is in the books at 644. Sandra Gongora can go strike spare. Shoot 235 this game to get to 645. If there's a 9 spare strike, we would have a tie. Well, for Sandra, she was down big after game 1. Needs 9 or a strike. First shot of the 10. There's the strike. Any type of spare now. Stay in the elimination bracket. Business is picked up here. Photo finishes.
Uh-oh. Wow.
Sandra moving on to the next round. That's going to be enough.
Could have been a tie.
759, 650 Julia Bond over Liz Johnson. Liz Culkin is going to defeat Miss Parkin at our final score. .218 finish for Verity, 672. Going to be enough for the victory over Danielle McCune. So it looks like it's going to be Verity and Liz Culkin on the left side of the bracket. Julia Bond. Looks like she's going to be taking on EZ. Stephanie Johnson with the win over Tanya Ramanpur. Lindsay Boomershine is going to get the victory over Taylor Bailey. Let's go watch Diana and Clara here. we get the final shot from Danielle. Final tally going to be 672 to 616. Verity Crawley with the win, moving on in the winner's bracket. So Diana entered this game up by 55 pins. So Claire's going to need to strike out and hope for some help. DZ. A couple marks away from being in the two teens. That washout just might be the end of it here. Yeah, this one looks like it's just about over. Still pretty close between Randy Branca and CDB, Carolyn Doran Ballard. We'll head over there real quick. But as we do that, we're also going to invite Verity Crawley into the broadcast. So let's bring her in. There she is.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. I'm a little ecstatic right now.
So that was a very interesting match. A lot of movement. You know, Danielle's been playing in all week, and you know, you're the first player she's had to bowl against who played left. So there seemed like there was a lot of transition going on. What was your key to trying to stay ahead of it and you know, pulling out the victory there?
Really just pay attention to what the lane's doing and make the moves accordingly. I did try and pay a little bit of attention as well to what she was doing, so that way I could make my moves based on what I saw her ball do. That was probably the first time that I had someone start left of me versus being right of me. So I was definitely aware of that, and I was aware of kind of what she was doing and what ball she was using, and really just tried to make smart decisions. And when it came down to that last game, I just wanted to fill frames.
Verity, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verity, I was just going to ask, you know, you talked about, we saw a few different bowling ball changes throughout the course of that matchup. Just kind of talk us through the progression of the equipment you used and what you saw and why you made the changes.
That was the same question I was going to ask.
How about
Fight. So I started with the IQ Tour, and I've used that ball all of match play, really. But for me, the left lane was hooking a little bit more, and that spot was quite defined. I also burnt that spot in practice. That's kind of what my game plan has been in every match. So I changed to the pro motion on just the left lane. And it looked very good, but then the lanes just got a little bit tricky. I changed to that on the right lane as well, and it almost stopped hooking. So I then decided, okay, I'm going to try something else. And I went to the Hustle PBR thinking it would allow me to keep it online, but it was just a little bit too responsive down lane. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go back to the IQ Tour. I'm going to throw it faster, and I'm just going to do what I've done all week, which is try and not cover too many boards. I'm someone who likes to hook the whole lane, and that's definitely been the strategy I do not want to use during match play. So for me, I've been trying to keep my break point around 9-10, and that has been the key all of my matches. Is the minute I get it going a little bit right, Luckily, I have some recovery, so I burnt a spot, but I'm going to flat 10. But the good thing is that I know that, and in these matches, when I did miss right, I didn't 2-4-8-10, I just 2-pin or just 2-4. So for me, that was really positive.
Now, it looks like, doesn't look like, you will be bowling Liz Culkin in the next match. She's someone that likes to play left as well. Is your strategy for how you break the lanes down in practice can be a little different because you're playing her?
I'm going to think about that over the lunch break.
well, you'll get back to us, right?
Yeah, I'll get back to you.
Awesome. Well, you're just one win away from the 1-2 match. Are you thinking about that at all?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
For me, it's just about execution. If I can execute my shots and make my adjustments, then whatever happens, happens. I can't control what she does. I can only control what I do. And I know it's so, cliche to say that statement, but it's genuinely so true.
Well, we've followed you very closely since you've been able to come back and bowl on tour. We've been rooting for you every week. I've been picking you every week. You've been close. It seems like every week you're getting a little better. Best of luck getting to the show, and hope you bowl well in this next break.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Verdi. All right, Verdi Crawley joining us here on Bowl TV after an excellent performance in a win against Danielle McCune. We're going to go to the last match ongoing. I lied, there's another match going. The last one on our featured pairs here. So CDB taking on Brandy Branca.
Trying to stay alive.
Second shot, CDB 3-6-10. So what this is going to do, oh my. So if CDB picks this up, she'll be at 207 on the game. She'll be at 575. Brandy can max out at 201.
Which would be a tie. Oh, no. Oh.
Well,
I mean, she still needs a double.
Pressure is still there, yes, but
now Brandy can win.
Very simple. All three. Win by one. Anything less.
Wow.
Must strike situation. There's one for Brandy.
I'm speechless, Aaron.
Did not expect that from CDB. Rocio needs a mark in the 10th to eliminate Birgit. Diana with a 664 to 585 win over Clara Guerrero. So she will face Julia Bond. So our final four: DZ, Julia Bond, Verdi Crawley, Liz Culkin. Gotta have it. And CDB is going to hold on.
I'm just glad she didn't have to beat herself up over that 3-6-10.
I'm sure she's still not happy about it, but that'll be.
Bowling can be a very cruel sport sometimes.
CDB find a way to get the victory here with 574.
Wow.
Official tally 574, 562. The win for CDB to continue her trek here at the 2021 USBC Queens. Rocio did get the mark in the 10th, so she is going to eliminate Birgit. And JT, we're done for.
I need a break. Is there a break coming up?
There is a break.
Are they going to give us a break? Man.
We got our final oil break of the day coming up next here on, well, not on Bowl TV. We're not going to broadcast the oil break.
Some people might want to see that. But yeah, you're right. We're not going to do it.
We're not going to do it. So let's go full screen here. Hey, look at it. There we are.
There we are.
All
Man,
right.
that was. I'm drained. I'm fully drained.
There was a lot to digest there over the course of those two rounds, but essentially we're down to our top 4 in the winners bracket. This is these players are 1 win away from a guaranteed spot on Bowl TV for the stepladder finals on Tuesday. Some phenomenal matchups of young, talented players here on tour. Verity Crawley is taking on Liz Culkin next, and then Julia Bond against Diana Zavialova, a 2-time champion here at the Queens. So there is the potential for that that BFF matchup of Diana and Verity for the top overall seed is in play. But Liz Culkin, Julia Bond, I think are going to have the Nebraska connection there. We got Nebraska versus Weber here. Might have something different to say about it. So they were past teammates, national champions for the Cornhuskers, and then Verity and Diana,
past teammates and national champions.
National champions. So there you go.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I talked to Diana a couple of weeks ago, and she's kind of been working through some issues with her confidence, and she was really looking forward to the Queens. She felt like she needed a couple more weeks under her belt, and the Queens is a tournament that she loves. She's won it twice, obviously, and she was looking ahead to the Queens as kind of the week that she could make the return to glory. So it's all going to plan for her. Verity, we've been watching her since she's come back on after the terrible odyssey that she went on, being having to go back to England and then not being able to get back to compete, not being able to get her visa. She hadn't had a lot of time to practice, and she's just gotten better every week, and she just looks super sharp right now. That matchup with Liz Culkin is going to be a barn burner. We haven't seen 2 players that have had a lot of success playing left bowl each other on our featured pairs. So that's going to be a fun match to watch. There's going to be a lot of transition, a lot of strategy going on there. And then Julia Bond has been, she just pops off these big games, and you just can't keep up with her. So it's going to be really interesting to see, what Diana does to try to, contain what Julia's been able to do. But those 4 players almost are guaranteed to be on the show later, tomorrow. The losers of those 2 matches will be in the 4-for-3 match. So those 4, we're going to see at least 3 of them on the show, maybe 4. And then, whatever happens in the elimination bracket will determine, who makes the show. But Carolyn Doran Ballard's still alive. That's a huge story. How excited will fans be to see her make this show?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the players who were in the winners bracket and lost this round, that would be Clara, Liz Johnson, Missy Parkin, and Danielle. They actually have off the 130 round. They'll be back on the lanes in the round following that. In the elimination bracket, up at 1:30 local time here, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Jordan Richard against Sandra Gongora, Aaron McCarthy against CDB, Lindsay Boomershine against Stephanie Johnson, and then Rocio taking on Josie Barnes. So great matches all around, great competitors still in the field here at the USBC Queens. But we're getting down. We're losing a couple more people this round, and it's going to be intense. It's going to continue. Some great bowling so far, and it's going to just resume here at the NBS in 90 minutes. We've got a 90-minute break here, folks. So
I think that's enough. I think that's enough
to
recharge and get excited. I mean, I'm already excited for the next matches, but I need to recover after watching what we just watched.
Yes, so we need a break. Need some coffee. Not that just to cool everything down. But we're going to go ahead and sign off here from Bowl TV for just a little bit. So a big thank you to the USBC and USBC Board of Directors, Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider here this week, our gold industry partners, 900 Global, Storm and Rotogrip, the RSCBA, and the Row here in Reno. Of course, our participants this week have put on an amazing show so far and will continue to do so as we get down to our top 5 today. Of course, you, the Bowl TV community. That was fun, right? You guys enjoyed that, right?
I would hope so.
I know we did, but hopefully you had some fun here on a Monday, kicking off your work week the right way here on Bowl TV. So big thank you to all of you for joining us here once again, and of course to the staff here working at the NBS, both for the facility and the tournament team. Big thank you for all you do. So that's going to do it for Mike Flanagan, Jason Thomas. I'm Aaron Smith. We're going to sign off from Bowl TV right now. But we'll be back 4:30 p.m. Eastern, the time, about 90 minutes from now. But remember, folks, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here. We'll see you soon.